Hey guys, it's Lefty, and I want to talk to you today about BitCoins and Litecoins and all kinds of coins. Well, not really coins, although I do think they can be physically manifested. I'm talking about internet currencies. Commonly, the common ones, BitCoins, Litecoins, and I think there's a few others. I'm not exactly sure. And I want to start off the video by saying, first of all, feel free to like the video, subscribe if this is your first time here, you like what you see, gaming videos, all this kind of stuff from time to time. Plenty coming your way. So hit the subscribe button, the like button, and favorite button do help me out. I greatly appreciate it. But when I'm going to use some terms throughout this video, and I want to clear them up really quick. I'm going to call these things BitCoins, Litecoins, what have you, internet currencies. I don't want you to think that I am trying to belittle them by what I decide to call them. Right? A lot of people do that sometimes when they don't like something that they're talking about, or they're trying to report on, or just think about and in discourse with somebody else. They give it kind of like a demeaning name or a dismissive name, like, oh, that's an internet currency. That doesn't mean anything. I don't mean to say that. It's just to keep it straight in my head. I know of Bitcoins and Litecoins because of the internet, and as I understand them, although my understanding is very easily wrong, as I understand them, a lot of their creation and exchanging is done on the internet, via the internet, and a few different places accept them on the internet in exchange for goods and services, what have you. So that's what I mean when I say internet currency. I don't mean to be divisive and be like, "Ha, what you like doesn't mean anything." Although I may disagree with what some people say about Bitcoins and Litecoins. I'm not trying to be like, "Ha, you stupid internet kids," because as we all know, I mean, I make my bones on the internet like many other people, so I know that real things can be born from the internet. You know, lifestyles and relationships and, whatever. Careers, people make careers on the internet every single day. But the Bitcoin today and Litecoin is like its lesser brother. But I think fundamentally speaking, they both operate relatively the same way, which is really cool. It has to do with like a cryptographic mathematical equation where when you solve one portion of it, that changes all the other portions of the equation and makes it harder and harder to figure out. And you have to devote computing time to try to figure it out. And then you do, and you get a Bitcoin and blah, 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 blah. It's really cool stuff. Like the math behind it's really cool. And I like it. I probably would like it even more if I could understand it, but I can't. But it reached $1,000, the Bitcoin today. One Bitcoin is, as of right now, it may change for depending on when you watch this video. One Bitcoin is worth $1,000 US, and of course, different denominations in other hard currency. And this has spawned a lot of conversation on whether Bitcoin and things like Litecoin should be accepted as real economic heavy hitters, as quote real currencies. Now, how do you define real? It's nebulous. You know, what is widely accepted, what is not widely accepted, what defines real? Because technically speaking, U.S. currency isn't real. It's just an expression of some kind of nebulous value. It's like we think it's worth this, but it is worth it because we think it. It's bootstrapped by its very nature. But a lot of people want to know, is Bitcoin or should Bitcoin and Litecoin and things of that nature be on par with other currencies, with other ways of exchanging value, whether it be on the internet or at banks, whatever? Should banks start accepting Bitcoin? Should Target, Best Buy, all these stores? Is Bitcoin a player? Is it here to stay? And I don't know I don't understand it. I want somebody to explain Bitcoin to me because I have a rudimentary understanding of economics, not a classically trained or classical education in the School of Economics. Just like I apply logic as I see it, and sometimes I'm wrong and other times I'm not. But I see Bitcoins and Litecoins as not really a currency, as not really like a thing. Because as I understand currency, a currency is supposed to be a medium of exchange. That is its purpose. Otherwise, you're at a barter system. You work 5 hours remodeling, let's say you work 8 hours a day remodeling my kitchen. Well, we don't have a currency. Our economic system is not based on a currency, on a widely accepted currency. So I'm going to give you 5 chickens. I think your 8 hours remodeling my kitchen is worth 5 chickens. Here you go. Now, if you have your own chickens that you can use to make eggs and kill and slaughter to make dinner, well, you're going to have some more chickens, and you should probably trade those chickens for other things that you need or that you want if you don't want the chickens. Well, that wasn't a very good way of doing things because, again, what is a chicken? Well, what I value a chicken at depends on how many chickens I have and what you have. That doesn't really work when you've got a lot of people in an economic system that want to do a whole bunch of different things. So currency, again, this is, I understand it, if you know about these things and you're like, hey, Lefty, you're an idiot, please try to be a little bit nicer than that, but explain it to me. Because a currency arises from a need to exchange value in outside of commodities, outside of chickens and sheep, and you can express the value of your service or your goods in this currency, which everybody can accept and can exchange for value at their whim, but you don't have to always express the value of your services and goods in hard commodities. Again, the aforementioned chicken, sheep, fruits, vegetables, whatever. That's what I understand a currency to be. And the key operative term there is a widely accepted medium of exchange. Because let's say we'll go back, turn of the century, coal mines in turn of the century America. They were, or in the dawn of the industrial age, not necessarily turn of the century, though that did happen then too. Coal mines, big corporations used to, they were all localized. There would be entire cities surrounding a coal mine, and everybody in that city worked to some degree on the coal mine, or they taught the people that worked in the coal mine, et cetera, et cetera. So the corporation that owned the coal mine, they would pay their workers in company store like vouchers. Like, you have X amount of credit at the company store that you can go exchange for things and da-da-da-da-da. But that voucher wasn't able to be exchanged for anything else. If the company store didn't sell it, you couldn't exchange that for dollars. You couldn't, because who would, or anything else. What is this? This is a voucher. This means nothing to me. It only means anything where it is accepted. If it isn't widely accepted, it's not, as I understand it, really a currency. It's not a medium of exchange. That is what we're looking for. We're looking for something, if it's going to be a currency, it has to be a medium of exchange, and a medium of exchange, a good one, is widely accepted so that people can express their value of their goods or services through that thing, and it's widely accepted so that they can use it wherever they want. And I don't see that with Bitcoin or Litecoin. I mean, it's cool. Again, like I said, the math behind it is really cool, but does it do like anything else? Some places accept it, I know. I know, of course, you get the alarmists like, well, they're using it to buy drugs and guns and the deep net or something. And shut up. But I don't see it being really widely accepted anywhere else. Some places do. Virgin Galactic may accept Bitcoins. I saw on Twitter somebody told me that Newegg is thinking of beginning to accept Bitcoins. But really, the only place I see the value of Bitcoins talked about is in expressions of other hard currencies and denominations of other hard currency. A lot of you have read the story. Bitcoin is worth $1,000. Well, why is that a thing? Not because the Bitcoin is so valuable. It's because a Bitcoin is worth $1,000. And that's intriguing to me because every time I look around and I see, oh, well, Bitcoin's so valuable, it's valuable, it's valuable. They're only talking about its value relative to other denominations, other currencies, other hard currencies. If you have a Bitcoin, it's worth, about 500 pounds or 400 euros or whatever. I'm bad at exchange rates. But that's all I see is people talking about the value of Bitcoins as expressed in other widely accepted mediums of exchange, other currencies. And if that's the case, and that's all I see, that's what a lot of what I see, that doesn't seem like a real currency to me. Because I've seen things like Beanie Babies. When I was a kid, Beanie Babies were huge. Oh my God. If you had one of those bears, one of those rare like TY bears in mint condition, you were golden. You could sell that thing for thousands of dollars. But Beanie Babies weren't a currency. They were just a commodity. Because let's say if supermarkets and big box stores started accepting Beanie Babies as payment for goods or services, you could talk about them as being a currency. But when the only expression of their value is in little packets of other hard currencies, to me, it's not a currency. It's just a way, it's just a medium to get to other medium of exchanges. It's not a medium of exchange, as I understand it, and thus not a currency until I can confidently express the value of what I do, whatever it is, not much, in Bitcoins. And you can agree on the value of that Bitcoin. You can say, oh, yes, you've worked 8 hours today. It's worth this many Bitcoins or this fraction of Bitcoins, whatever the rate is. But so far, getting back to it, all I've seen is it seems like a lot of people are treating it as just a way to get more dollars. It seems like it's a stock. It seems like that. Well, imagine if Bitcoin were a company. Right? Instead of, when you read about Bitcoin, try this just out as an experiment. When you read about Bitcoin, try to imagine that they're not talking about a possible currency, a possible medium of exchange over the internet. Imagine they're talking about a company, and they're talking about the company's stock prices. Does it still fit? Because if it does, because whenever you hear about stock prices, you hear about its value in other currencies. And if that still fits in your head when you're reading about Bitcoin and it's like, oh, well, Bitcoin is worth $1,000. It's like, well, it's up 2 points today. It's like, well, it sounds like you're talking about a stock, and stocks aren't currencies. They're commodities. And okay, it's really cool. Again, we'll get back to the math. Really cool stuff. I just don't see that it's a real thing. A cool thing, yes. Real thing? Now, here's what I want you to do. Because I think I've done a good job throughout this entire video saying, well, here's how I view it. I don't necessarily know what I'm talking about, although I pretend I do on the internet. But if you know better, and if you can make your case for Bitcoin to be accepted as a real legitimate currency, okay, make your case. I want to hear it, because from where I sit and when I look at it, it just doesn't appear to be. It just appears to be pretty cool, but not what everybody purports it to be. But that's where I sit. And Bitcoin's, again, really cool. And if you can explain the math, too. Oh, if you can explain the math, explain it. Try. I don't guarantee that I'll understand it. But try to explain the math, because when I first read about this stuff, the idea of the math and the cryptographic equations, it was just, okay, I want to understand it and know more about it. So let me know. I want to see I want to see what you guys think and what you guys know. If you can change my mind or offer up a better explanation than I did, because I will be the first to admit right now that the explanation that I just gave, incomplete. So complete it if you can do better or know better. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Again, hit the like button if you did enjoy. It does help me out. Hit the subscribe button if this is your first time here. Plenty more to come along the way. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out.